again to 9ja Problem.
9ja Solution.
And right here, I have me Ife Salako.
And of course, he is Fola Atoloye.
And on this show, what we just try to do is to pick on the problems that we have in this country, Nigeria. We're all citizens of Nigeria. And then try and see how we can prefer a solution. From just discussing it.
Yeah. So today?
Yeah, today. What are we having today?
Literacy in Nigeria.
And according to UNESCO, it says that literacy can be defined as the ability to read and write. I mean, that's like just the basic.
Yeah.
I'm not saying read and write English or Latin. I mean, read and write, whatever it is, whether it's your language, Yoruba, Ibibio, Efik, Kalabari, Igbo, Hausa, as long as you're able to read
and write.
And you can write.
Right. So, what is illiteracy?
Well, illiteracy could just be the opposite of that. And you know, what really gets me angered is the level of our illiteracy in Nigeria. Because I can please read out the numbers.
I mean, of course, while Botswana has about 88.5% literacy level, Zimbabwe has about 86.5% literacy level. Ghana, that they cannot even cook proper jollof rice.
I didn't say that one.
What's wrong? Are you trying to deny Nigeria?
No, I'm not denying Nigeria. I'm just saying I didn't.
I beg. Ghana that cannot cook proper jollof rice, their literacy level is 76.6%.
Wow.
Yeah, read Nigeria.
So you left Nigeria. All right, Nigeria's literacy level is 59.6%. Let's just say 60%. 60%. It's really poor. That means 40% of Nigerians cannot read and write.
And don't forget that you see this 60%.
But seriously, I believe that even people that can read and write sometimes exhibit some kind of foolishness that I cannot comprehend.
So I mean,
if you drive on the road of Lagos and you eat something and you throw it out of the window, you are
an illiterate. As in those people,
you are an illiterate.
You are an illiterate.
Whether you have average, see, if I do it,
vehicles,
I am an illiterate.
If vehicles are on a straight line, on a one lane road, and you move out of that lane to block the people that are coming on the other lane like this, you are an illiterate. You are an illiterate. If you like, be a lawyer. If you like, be a doctor. You are an illiterate.
And even for policemen that blow siren and pass one way.
Yes.
The only person that is allowed, the only vehicle allowed to pass one way in emergency is ambulance.
Yes.
That's the only
fire and
ambulance, exactly. I don't care whether you are the governor. Look at Fashola. Fashola never, when he was governor of Lagos State, he would be in the traffic.
Yes.
He never passed BRT lane. He never passed
when there was traffic.
He is a literate person.
There was a time he even arrested one military colonel guy. You know, he was in traffic.
So it doesn't matter whether you went to school, you have education. So that means and if that is the case, that means I accept that 30% that you just said.
I'm telling you.
Out of the 60%, I think about 40% of Nigerians are actually literate. Those are basic things that are not taught that you should know if you have sense. And that also spill over to the larger problems that we have in the country.
Yes, because it's among these so-called literate people that would go into the Senate. It's among some of us like that that will go in to be governors, that will be local government chairmen and chairladies, that will be even eventually presidents.
These are just the peripheral, conversation on what literacy, what we feel that you should have basic knowledge.
Yes.
Once you say you are able to read and write.
Yes.
But also we need to talk about the bigger picture, which is what exactly is the government doing to encourage education?
Well,
because according to
what did they give us? What did they give education in Nigeria?
In the budget? The education just this year, April 2018, the education sector got only 3.9 trillion naira out of 55.19 trillion naira in 10 years. And what that means is the education segment or sector has been given just 7% of the total budget. America has 25% of their budget given to education. And they're still advocating
for more.
They're saying it has to be 35% because in places like Belgium, places like Finland, places like Netherlands, they have 35% to 40%. And that's why in Netherlands, for instance, the last time they recorded crime, I think their policemen now walk up and down, helping people to cross the road, helping people to, and I'm serious, this is
of course, I know.
That's what they do. They've not shot a gun, they've not arrested them. Their prisons are empty.
Of course.
In Japan, Japanese police people cannot remember the last time they saw their police in Japan. Why? Because the education sector of this country were given priority. That according to UNESCO, illiteracy is the foundation for poverty.
Baka.
You cannot take it away. The reason why there's so much poverty, India has about 82 million citizens under poverty. Nigeria has 84 million. India is 1 billion, over 1 billion people. Nigeria is just 200 million. So that means if you look at it in ratio, that means more than 6 people are poorer.
Also putting it in context, there was something you I would like to draw our attention to. Still from UNESCO, says that national development depends on the nation's literacy level.
True.
National development depends on the nation's literacy level.
So if you're talking about national development, if the government is really bothered about national and you want the country to develop, you have to invest in education. That's just what it means.
Simple.
25% of your budget has to go into education.
Simple.
You cannot give 7% of your total allocation, your budget, to education.
It's not. What it means is that, okay, you see the way a country is, right? Is like a family, right? So the father is the government who earns the money, and brings it home. For example, the father, let's say the father and mother, they are the government, right? Who earns money and bring it to the family, and every other person, they are the children of the family. Now, so what you're saying in essence is that, okay, so I want to build house for my children. I want to, make the road nice for my children. I want to do all that, yeah. And then I'm going to do all of these other things, right? And I'm going to also defend my children, and get security for them. And I'm going to spend 93% of my budget on all these other things, and they spend only 7% to educate my children. You know what's going to happen? The 93% that
you're going to build structure for those children are going
and then they're going to destroy it. That is what's happening in Nigeria.
That's what it means.
So we have spent 93%, building, structuring things for people
that will come and destroy it.
That are destroying
that
it.
Basic knowledge of
I drove past Carter Bridge recently. Remember when Fashola was in office, the way he designed that bridge? They've broken most of those things.
The woodlumps around there.
They've broken it.
They go as far as stealing the railings on bridge. To go and make spoon.
They steal street lights. The government will install street lights. They'll go there, they'll go and steal it. I don't even know who they sell those things to. I don't know how I don't understand it. But you see, that is what happened. They vandalize things. Government, structures. Okay, so that is a major problem. In fact, something more than...
So the father and mother should take more... The priority should be in educating those children. In knowing the values of those things. Now, let me share something with you. In the mid-1990s, we are in 2018. In the mid-1990s, and I think I remember those period, Nigerian universities, especially the first generation ones, the UI, the OAU, all those ones, attracted students from Cameroon, from South Africa, from Kenya, from Ghana, among others, even from America. We had exchange students like that. Today, reverse is the case. You'll find out that senators and rich men and all that send their children abroad to school. Do you know that even in Cotonou, Nigerians send their children to Cotonou to go and study?
Of course.
Jesus.
To Cotonou or Cotonou, whatever.
And Ghana.
And of course, Ghana.
We still now send. So now Nigerian education system has
come back from Ghana.
Broken down so badly.
They'll come back from Ghana and start saying the thing that the pastor take a bath. I mean, we live in an age where parents now encourage children to go and do internet fraud, aka Yahoo. And they know that this boy is not going to school. They don't even care. As long as he's making money, it's making sense. So that's been said. What is the solution? What can we do, to end this? And I'm going to start by going back to the major, the very visible problem, which is funding. Government needs to fund education more. I think also the private sector the part, and this is where the solution, talking about the private sector solution to it. The private sector, all of you sponsoring entertainment content shows that are giving millions to young people
who will not come on social media and disgrace their family and,
I mean, it doesn't matter what they do, really, right? But you know that the basic is, so let me tell you, it is obvious, you're obviously killing education. You are obviously, so I mean, so we have the best students.
But that's a very salient point.
Hold on a second. We have best students, overall best students of a university, graduating, and then he's getting maybe computer or
TV set,
or
and
TV
fridge, and generator,
or 50,000 or 100,000 or one ridiculous money or gift, and then somebody will go and do one entertainment thing,
sleeping with each other in the house,
and of course because it's building, you know, the whoever is doing that is building content that will generate millions too. Understandable, but you see what you're saying in essence is also that
we give credence, we give preference.
It's also that you are saying, you are endorsing this thing at the detriment of education.
That's very true.
So people are going to care less about education. They are not going to read. So things that bring that brings value, things that you know that are attached to dignity, they are being relegated to the back for things that are of glamour, you know, of this and that. And the private sector, you people are the ones that are doing this one.
I think it's a silent point you raised. Nobody's contesting against the fact that companies private sector, they want to put their money where there's glamour and entertainment, but also try and balance it. That's the point.
Yes.
Because our research facility in Nigeria is in comatose. Yeah. Millions are invested. Do you know there are certain people who all they do in their life is to go and study how ants function?
Yes.
That's all that person has grown up, is probably 40 years as adult. That's all he has done. A particular set of ants. And there's organizations are putting, it's not government. This one now is not government.
Private sector.
Organizations are putting millions into that research just to know how these things function. And it cuts across all the sectors of their economy. For example, you have people who all they do is to research on pharmaceutical products. Okay, this disease is out. What do we know? What do we need to know so that we can build the proper? And millions are going into it. But all we have, the only investment that we have, true investment that we have, going into a sector, is people putting money into entertainment. So you go into the house, you sleep with each other, you do all that nonsense, and then you pay 25 million naira and a car and a house and all that.
Let me even say that
to one person who has given no value to the people.
Private sectors, communications, banks, others.
I mean, financial sector.
All of you, who told you that if you put 20 million down and say somebody should write a proposal or something or just create an educative a program around it, youths come around, you get every day you are doing a presentation on how to move Nigeria forward. Every day you are writing a presentation on how to make how to get to the moon, or how to create a scientific something, or whatever it is. That has to do purely with education, and the winner is going to get 20 million. Who told the people will not watch it? Who told the people will not come out and contest for it?
True. And I have to give credence to Cowbell, because Cowbell does...
yes, Cowbell, now they try. I mean, give it to you.
Credence to them.
We need more... we know go hide mouth.
Yes. So we need more people to go and invest in all this...
MTN, you people should try.
Yes.
EP.
Please.
Education show.
Airtel.
Which other one?
Help education. Help scientific research.
Heritage Bank. We know where you people are putting your money. Help also education.
Because this is what happens also.
Yes.
To continue on our point. There's a young man in the East that built a drone.
Yes, I saw it.
Why can't we encourage that man? Put money. This is what you need to do. Simple. Put that man, because he's not going to be the only one who has such idea. Just look for like a silicon kind of whatever. Like you have Silicon Valley over there. Just bring the young guys together. That if you have superb ideas on building drones, on building cars, railways, railroads, and all that. There's a guy also that finished from Covenant University that built iron that doesn't need electricity.
That uses gas.
Bring all these guys together, put them in a house, let them invent things in 30, 40 days.
And before you
give
know
them
it,
money.
before you know it,
Must you always be entertainment?
what you are doing in essence is that the way you have
Encouraging.
the way you have encouraged young
entertainment
people
industry
to take entertainment. Everybody wants to become a singer, dancer,
actor.
You know, the same way, subconsciously, once there is money in it, you would encourage them to.
Scientists
a
of our
considerable
time.
number of their time of the youth also, and young people, you know, would start migrating back to education and start saying, rather, I will stay inside and read my books because I want to go for this competition next year.
Because everybody's not talented and I want to sing. Everybody's not doing
So if you are doing that for entertainment, I beg, we are begging you.
Should we need them?
They will not see us on camera. Our cameraman is laughing.
The cameraman has to laugh. If you take the see,
We would have left that.
all those masks that you will plant everywhere, you won't have to barricade it and put policemen there.
Exactly.
Because you have not, many people are now educated. Literacy level has increased. People will not go and steal your stuff.
Exactly.
It's very simple.
So please, let's try.
It will take years to achieve it,
yeah.
But it will work out.
But finally, parents,
You are the most important because the family, the society starts. The nuclear family is the most important part of a society.
It is.
People like to blame and say, hey, police is not doing their job well. But the truth is, if you have each family train their children properly and give them value. I remember growing up, Mr. Ife, my father would always tell me, remember the son of who you are.
I cannot
forget that in my life.
My mom used to say.
But he will tell you, whatever you do, remember the son of who you are.
Because there is no even son of who you are anymore now.
Son of what you are.
The son of anarchy that is here. Lamide.
I remember when they investigated Evans, the kidnapper, and they went to the father, and they said the father just threw the guy out from a young age. He just told that even Evans blamed the father and said the father was at an age of 14 years old, was telling him to bring money. That your mate are there, building house, see Emeka, see this one, see that one, you to go. The guy said he had to go into he blamed his father. And the father said he's a liar, but it's true.
At a point in my life, I was having issues with my education. My father said something to me that is clearly written in my brain. He said, look, I don't have any fortune to give you when you are old. If I build house, I build it for myself.
And my wife.
Anything I do is for myself. You know, the only thing I have for you is education. So if you don't take it, just know that you are ruining your future. My brother, my sister, my brain resets instantly. My brain resets instantly. I realized that I have, I remember that moment, I remember that situation, I remember everything. So it guides me. So parents, you have serious roles to play in educating people. You know, for the ones who don't really understand all this grammar, parents on a get serious role to play.
Now what plenty o. And even the young ones wey don dey born pikin, I go see guy go give girl belle. He go say, I know my son. Why? Why are you doing that?
You are ruining the future of this country.
Exactly.
You are ruining the future of this country. So please, education, number one priority. If all of us want to make Nigeria better. Thank you.
We'll see you again next time.